because as I'll tell every single person here, your employer is your employer for this current season, but they're not going to be your employer for forever. But the one thing that goes with you no matter where you go is your personal brand. So it's totally cool that you're going to actually have commentary and posts and insights on what your employer is doing. But if that's all you ever do, then you're what we call a pitch man, and people tune out immediately. Personal branding is actually really freaking easy. What's hard, I love that irony of it. Well done, Justin. What's hard is the consistency to do it. All right, the commitment to do it. That's what's hard. So it's kind of like selling, right?
I developed an opportunity from that. The guy direct messaged me and he's like, that was the best product testimonial ever. I was like, oh, all right, cool. So let's talk, right? And it's that actually, it made me take pause, you know, in the way that we're kind of branding ourselves.
I'm the opposite. I'm very intentional with only attracting the audience that's going to be important for my career. I've had a lot of opportunities, especially because I do like music content related to sales, where these like influencers with like 500,000 followers on LinkedIn are like, let's do a collaboration. And I realize it does nothing for my particular niche or audience. And I'd rather not have that extra attention and fame, but instead be held in high regard within the people that I work and do business with, especially like my clients.
But I'm going to approach it not from, is your profile as one piece of your brand, a perfect embodiment of everything it should be. I'm going to look at it is, what's the buyer's reaction? How does the buyer perceive you? And how does that influence your success? People buy from people before they buy from the company. You need to understand that. So that's why it's so killer. Fast forward a year later, when we were at a trade show that we've been at years before, multiple times, and we were having record crowds. My CEO turned to me, he says, I don't know how you did it, but you're brilliant. That would appeal to me more, especially as a senior executive who controls budget, because maybe my relationship with you can further my career. What's in it for me to connect with you? So that's kind of the chant, and that's the irony. Your brand starts with the message you use to send to me. That's how it all begins. You're not taking yourself seriously. That makes you approachable. Wildly creative prospecting. Now I'm intrigued. As a buyer, I am intrigued. I want to know what you're doing that's wildly creative. I want to learn more about that. Gap selling evangelist. Boom. Gap selling. You're like, Keenan, baby, like you've read a book. 99% of salespeople have never read a book. This dude's read a book. But where the wow factor happens is in those comments, you say something provocative that, well, everybody else is going, yeah, preach, attaboy. You go, well, I kind of agree with you, but I disagree with you here. And this is why I disagree with you. This is what's going to happen. That poster is going to respond to you, ignore everybody else. And you and that person are going to have a back and forth. And all those people in that thread are going to say, who's this Ryan guy that's got a conversation going on with Keenan? Because Keenan's responding to him. That's literally what Keenan and I did. We did this exact same thing. And then what I did was I went to Keenan behind the scenes and I'm like, hey, that conversation we're having on the comments of your post, buddy, it seems to have some legs. Let's do a webinar or a podcast or a video on that. I'll do all the production work, me and my team. You just got to show up. We'll give you the leads. Life is brand. So right away, I'm not saying right or wrong, this is screaming sales rep wanting to sell me something from a buyer's point of view. And I'll tell you why. For me, as a buyer, if I see like 5,000, then I start to think that you're a player and that you've got tenure and that you probably know what you're talking about. You've been around for a little bit. Your CEO does not own your profile at all. Let's be clear in that, all right?